Hello, and welcome back to another Jake's Metal Chat. I hope everyone had a great Christmas and a much better New Year. Well, it was only the start of it, but 2020 last year, well, giving it the boot, and it was pretty much a massive piece of crap, mainly. My guest is waiting. But before I get on with the episode, I am wearing Rotting Ways to Misery, The History of Finnish Death Metal, which is what I have been reading recently. And of course, this is the book. It's an awesome read. I'm got to the chapter about, well, I'm not going to give too much away in case you want to read it yourself, so I'm not going to say anything else about it. Nothing before I get on with this video. Got some new things to do here in the new year, more Jake's Metal Chat, which I'll probably space out in like various weeks, and well, obviously, and yeah. Also CD videos, vinyl videos, tape videos, and obviously any other thing related to metal or anything like that. So anyway, I'm going to get my guest in, and we are going to be talking about, obviously, his band is starting metal, and there we go. And this is someone I actually know personally, like the guys from Des Holocostum, Jackal's Backbone, so of course Sam, who else? Matt from Repulsive Vision. You know, there's a lot of people anyway. I better get him in before he gets bored. So yeah, look out for those videos. Itchy ear. Okay, his audio is not connecting, which is just great. As well as Zoom being great for certain things, it never. Oh, he's going to try again, and I'm going to ask him to start video as well. Wait a minute. There he is.
Hello, Jake.
How you doing?
Okay, how's the sound, man?
Yeah, all good.
Yeah, good.
Good. I haven't seen you for quite a while now.
It's been a while, yes. I think the last time I saw you was in I think it was in the Griffin.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I think we were having a pint of Paul Arner in there because they were selling the good old German Paul Arner on tap.
Yeah, they still got it there.
So I was having a few pints of that, I can tell you.
It is a good beer. And
yeah, definitely.
A lot of people will know that beer anyway.
Yeah.
So, welcome to Jake's Metal Chat. You are my 18th guest.
Oh, wonderful. Brilliant.
And the first one of this year.
Excellent, even better.
The very first one of this year. And yeah, just getting back into the swing of things because I've been off for a while.
Well, we just got to hope this year's going to be good, you know.
Yeah, so get gigs and festivals up again. Hopefully, exactly. Let's hope.
Yes, definitely. Hopefully.
Let's just hope.
Yeah.
So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce this man. This is Mike. He is from a band called The Drowning, which I highly recommend people go check out, or if you have seen them live, which I have, just not going to rub it in with people who haven't. And he used to be in another band called My Silent Wake.
That's right. I used to do all the live guitars for them, yeah.
Well, still in the band, like live member.
Yes. Yeah.
It still counts. You're either a full member or you're just a live member or a session
Exactly.
member.
Yes.
But you're still a member.
And that's right. And I'm still very good friends with my Silent Wake. So, we definitely keep in touch and stuff. So,
That's
yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's amazing. So, how was your Christmas, New Year, and whatever?
Very quiet, to be honest, just how I like it. I didn't want it like, all like sort of crazy shit, especially with what the year's been like.
Mm.
I think going into the new year, I was like a little bit like, oh, well, let's concentrate on more of next year rather. Let's get rid of this year. I'd like to see the back of this year, So that was the Christmas vibe of like, fuck 2020.
Yeah, basically, I think that's what how everyone was feeling. I just wrote this big, massive post.
Yeah.
Before 2020 ended, saying, "Oh, let's give 2020 the boot and everything, and hopefully start this year on a better note."
Yeah, I hope so.
Because a lot of people didn't get to go to very many gigs in like the summer because obviously we couldn't meet up and hang out and everything. I only managed to get some gigs done in winter of last year.
Yeah, I don't think I'm trying to think before we went into the lockdown in the March. I'm not sure what gigs I went to in the sort of January and February of 2020. I don't think I did any gigs. Certainly didn't play any, and I don't think I went to see any. So it's been like a whole year now of nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Nothing. Well, like the last big gig I did last year in March before the lockdown was Testament at the O2.
Right, nice, yeah.
That's the last one I did.
Yeah.
And I got to meet Gene Hoglan and Steve the Georgios. That was great.
That's nice. That's a good touch.
And even meeting the guys from Death Angel as well.
Oh,
and
cool.
Exodus.
Yeah, funny enough, I was watching some old YouTube clips of old footage of Exodus and bands like that, playing live back in the day in like '88 and all that. And it was just like right blast from the past.
It's the '80s. Like it's a lot. Obviously, in the '80s, it was a lot different. Not everyone could just get their phones and film it.
Yeah,
they had to get like a camera crew to film it.
Yeah, some of the footage you do see on YouTube of the '80s bands playing. The footage is a bit rough, but you get the idea.
Well, that footage is like what 30 odd years old now.
Yeah, that's right. So it's to be expected to be a bit grainy.
Yeah, I see a lot of that with a lot of the old school death metal bands back in the day, like a lot of footage like that, and it's still intact, but some of it might have that wobble in it, where the tape just sort of has those lines or the coloured lines, and it's just like
that's it.
and it makes the sound all wavy.
Well, we've had many a video of the Drowning playing, and we're talking only like 10 years ago plus, and it's grainy. So
well, that's it. Footage. I mean, with camera footage now, it doesn't really wear out.
Yeah, that's right.
Footage, it wears out quite quickly.
That's it. Yeah.
And well, that's since you mentioned the Drowning about that, we'll get into that. But I want to ask you, and I've asked this to all my guests: where did your journey into metal begin?
Well, I'm glad you said that. I was about 13 years old, so we're talking back in the 80s now, and I was my brother, who was like 4 years older than me. He was the one who was always into the music, and one day he came over. He came home from school, and he brought this album home, and at the time, he was listening to things like Madness and the Specials and things like that. And I was only 13. And he came home and he said, I had this record from a friend of mine. And it was Judas Priest, British Steel. Right?
Classic. So
I'd never heard of Judas Priest, never heard of British Steel, never even knew what heavy metal was. Never had a clue. And I think the heaviest thing I'd heard my brothers playing back in the day was things like, well, my older brother again, you know, he'd play things like T-Rex and all that. And that's just, you know, heavy sort of guitar bass music back then. But no, so British Steel, and straight away I clicked just onto like that heavy metal sound. I was like, wow, what is this? Guitars, and even the cover and the back cover of the band, you know, playing live, and all the studs and leather and sweat, and it's just like, look at that. And straight away, I got more and more into it, listening, and then he brought other albums home off his mates, you know, and he started playing them, and then he started buying other records then, like Iron Maiden, Manowar. We get into things like even the lighter stuff like Rush and stuff. There was just so many bands. There was so much at the time to try and absorb. And of course, Metallica came along pretty quick in my life as well then. So within probably 2 years of getting into metal, I was listening to things like Metallica, and then another year later it'd be Megadeth, and then it was going on and on, you know, at that pace, you know. So within like 1984, I'm into Priest. By 1985, I'm into Celtic Frost. By 1986, I'm into like bands like Sodom and Destruction and things like that. It was moving that quick, you know.
Yeah. That was basically like me as well. Just went heavy metal, thrash metal, death metal.
Yeah. And that's how we moved forward. And you know, when you think of it, going from say like 84, being in school, listening to like Iron Maiden's Peace of Mind, Judas Priest, Defense of the Faith, Manowar, Hail to England. You know, 6 years later, I'm listening to things like Entombed and Carcass and Dismember. But in those 6 years, you've picked up the whole thrash scene, you know, and the whole sort of like heavy metal scene in just that short space of time. So yeah, it's quite interesting, really. Yeah.
Very interesting. And I noticed there was a cat behind you.
There's always a cat behind me somewhere. There's lots of cats lurking.
I think that's the first animal I've had on Jake's Metal Chat. So there we go.
Yeah. Well, she's gone somewhere behind her.
She's gone.
Yeah.
I had something similar. I was like listening to Judas Priest, Iron Maiden,
Motorhead,
Black Sabbath. I still listen to those bands.
Yeah. Well, that's it.
You know.
And obviously, over the years, I've managed to see some of these great bands live, not in their heyday, you know, because a lot of bands, when they got to sort of like the late 80s into the 90s, the whole heavy metal scene was being consumed by so many genres. A lot of the traditional heavy metal bands were like not falling by the wayside, but I think their fan base was a little bit, I can't say thin on the ground, but I was a prime candidate for, so like, I'm going to leave them for a bit because I've gone, you know, there's this whole new genre now I'm following. And, you know, there's a lot of bands you just forgot about. I forgot about Priest in the 90s, you know, because I was following other bands. And then, you know, it was only when I like into the 2000s and I picked up on some of Priest's later stuff again. I thought, shit, you know, how come I've let this pass? Because I got sidetracked by certain genres of extreme metal.
Yeah, it happens.
So, it happens.
Yeah. You just get sidetracked because when I got into death metal and I started getting more into it, I completely forgot about every other band that I got into, and then all of a sudden, like, Judas Priest is releasing a new album. Let's listen to this.
Yeah,
like Firepower in that album, and that's excellent. I love that.
That's Firepower is just something. It's unreal. But I'm stuck with Priest, you know, and like I said, I wasn't in like '97 when Rob Alford was gone and they had Ripper Owens on board. It wasn't until the second Ripper Owens album, which was Demolition, that I got back into them. But then when Rob came back for Angel of Retribution, and I was like, oh yeah, you can tell he's back because the whole band feeling was like stronger again. But one of my all-time, if not favorite bands, Priest, definitely.
Yeah, I love Priest. I think a lot of people who would watch this would like, yeah, Priest is awesome, yeah. Or some people like, not too fussed about him.
Yeah,
Like, not everyone's got to like Priest. Not everyone's got to like
yeah,
the same bands. You know?
that's right. Yeah.
It's like I like Motorhead. Someone might say, "Oh, I don't like Motorhead very much." That's okay.
Well, it's like people used to say to me when I was younger, and they used to say like, "Do you like Led Zeppelin?" I'm like, "Well, no, I don't, because I was never brought up on it. So
Makes
it,
sense.
it was never part of what I was given. It wasn't handed to me. I was handed different styles of like rock and metal, and then going back and listening to Zeppelin, I couldn't gel with it because it wasn't part of my upbringing. So
You didn't
whereas
have that. You didn't
people
have that
say you
initial
don't like
spark.
Zeppelin, I don't like Zeppelin. I'm
Well,
sorry.
yeah, no, that's understandable. I like Led Zeppelin, and
Yeah,
some people. I even said this before on other episodes. Like, I might like a lot of death metal, but one of my favorite bands of all time is Queen,
yeah,
because my mum brought me and my brother up on Queen because she's a big Queen fan.
yeah, yeah,
If she didn't, I wouldn't. I most likely wouldn't be into Queen.
yeah.
So I
Well,
thank you for that.
that was the music playing on Christmas Day over my brother's. It was like full blast. You must have been like some Queen compilation. There must have been about bloody 100 tracks on there or something. I don't know, but yeah, it went on for a long time. But yeah, it was good to hear those old Queen songs. It was, yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Can't go wrong with a bit of Queen. It's like,
Yeah,
I played Entombed a lot. Let's go back to Queen.
yeah.
Okay, I'm done with Queen.
I said you can just, exactly. I mean, one minute I can listen to some extreme black metal band, and then the next thing I'll pull out is like, oh, look, there's a bit of Kate Bush. I haven't played that Kate Bush album for a long time. So literally go from one to the other just like that. It's,
Yeah, you can just
go from Burzum to Pink Floyd.
burst into Pink Floyd. Or, I'm just trying to think. Massacre to Fleetwood Mac or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah,
You know, I mean, I like a lot of metal. I also still like a lot of my favorite rock bands. I like a lot of folk music. I'm into folk music,
yeah,
which obviously is much more mellow than metal, but then you get the melodic metal bands who are
yeah,
just melodic, not heavy, just like they are heavy, but not overly heavy like you get
yeah.
with Cannibal Corpse or someone like that.
The thing is, it's healthy to have a broad spectrum of music. If you're one of these guys who just like, I only like death metal. That's all I listen to. I'm just like, well,
Well,
okay, that's up to you. But there's a whole world out there of music.
all right, that's fine if you just like death metal. So, I only listen to black metal. I only listen to thrash metal. I only listen
Yeah,
to the new wave of British heavy metal.
yeah,
Okay, but there's more music out there. That's why
yeah,
I go from listening to, say, Dismember to Devon Townsend.
yeah.
Love Devon Townsend.
Well,
Can't go wrong with Devon Townsend because he's an amazing musician. He can play metal and some
yeah,
acoustic stuff as well.
very, very talented guy. Very talented guy.
And
Yeah,
I've met the man twice because I saw him in Cardiff not last year, year before, 2019, before everything went
yeah,
to shit. Got a signed set
yeah.
list and got a picture of him and gave him a hug after I had a picture of him. So that was all good. That made a good end of
Yeah, yeah.
end of 2019 for me. Because Devon,
Excellent.
it's Devon. We love him.
Yeah.
Can't. It's like, oh, Devon. It's like, you will love Devon. You will love Devon. Devon Townsend. I keep saying like Devon. Like,
Yeah.
Devon down like in Cornwall and everything. No, not that. Devon Townsend.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And yeah,
Cornwall.
they think there's a place in Cornwall called Townsend. Oh, Devon, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm actually in Stroud. I found a street sign that said Townsend. I've always wanted to take a picture of it and then
Yeah.
put his name on the top.
Brilliant.
Next time I'll do that.
Yeah.
And of course, you are from Wales, just over the bridge
Yes.
from me, since I'm in Bristol.
Yeah.
Only over the bridge. And there's a metal scene over there. There's a lot of great bands over in Wales. The biggest one being in terms of like extreme stuff, Desecration.
Yeah, the boys from Desecration, yeah.
Great
And
guys.
well,
Ollie's a nutcase. We can all agree on that.
yeah.
We can all agree he is a nutcase.
And I did see Mikey, the drummer, the other day.
Mikey's a good
I
one.
said the other day. It was about 2 weeks ago. We had a good chat outside outside a store, a pet store, believe it or not.
That's very metal.
Yeah. So we had a long conversation. Yeah, it was great. Yeah, it's good to see Mike.
Yeah, I haven't seen anyone from the Welsh metal scene very much recently. I did an interview with Steve Jenkins for the Variety Metal and Rock show for one of the bands that I'm in, but I haven't seen him face to face. I haven't seen anyone from the Welsh metal scene face to face in such a while. Last time I saw anyone from the Welsh metal scene was Eradication Fest 2019.
Wow.
That's the last time I think I saw any of them, unless some of them would come to Bristol from time to time, so maybe it would have been like a gig in Bristol or something, or I might have seen some in 2020 before it all went to pot.
Yeah.
But hopefully I'll see everybody again. I need to see the Drowning again.
Yes, we need to. We're looking forward to get back in on the live scene, you know. So.
And before I ask about the Drowning, how big is the Welsh metal scene? And how big was it when you were getting into it?
When I was a teenager, Cardiff had a massive metal scene. You know, if a band came to sort of Cardiff to play, a big band, I'm not talking little bands. If a big band came, so like Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, Motorhead, you know, the city centre was just full of metalheads, absolute chaos. You know, it was just there was like a legion of metalheads every time. And even going to the more extreme gigs, the smaller gigs in the sort of late 80s, we had some good venues, really good venues. And I saw some great old thrash bands like Sabbath and Forbidden and Sacred Reich. I saw Celtic Frost and Creator, you know, bands like that. But yeah, proper metal scene, because these bands used to come to Cardiff for the sole reason there was a scene, you know. And it was just the place to be. So if an international, you know, European or an American band was coming over to do a stint around the UK, Cardiff was one of the places they stop off because it had a good crowd, good scene, and kind of dropped off in the late 90s, early 2000s, especially when we started as a band. You know, we found when we were playing Cardiff, it was like, we just played to like a handful of people and stuff. Okay, we were a small band anyway, so no one's going to know us. But you know, it was weird. The metal scene in the early to mid 2000s in Cardiff was a little bit compared to what it used to be.
Yeah.
But I think it's starting to build up now. All right, forget the whole COVID.
Yeah, forget that one thing that made 2020 such a shit year.
Yeah, exactly. But apart from that, the scene has built up again. You know, and thankfully, places like Fuel are still putting on gigs constantly. You know, and there's always bands every weekend to check out, and you know, bands from overseas play that. It's great. You know, it's a good atmosphere in there. So
yeah, I love Fuel because I went to Eradication a lot there.
Yeah.
Eradication Fest, which is where it's always held. And I even seen bands that weren't, you know, doing Eradication. I've seen Cytotoxin there maybe twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cytotoxin, Origin, not Origin. No, Origin wasn't on tour with them. No, it was Cytotoxin. I only said Origin because Jason from Origin was filling in for the vocalist for Ingested.
Right.
One year. This was 2017. I'm trying to remember who was on that tour now. Okay, my mind's gone blank.
Anything anything past last year, I can't.
Past that, one's gone. But I might have to look at the bloody ticket again.
Yeah.
Or gig posters or whatever. I know cytotoxin was on that bill.
Yeah.
And speaking of the drowning,
Okay.
well, did you want to say something before you got into it?
No, you fire away. I'm all good.
I thought I was going to interrupt you. Like,
No.
it's like, damn it.
Yeah.
I tend to do that. I do apologize. The drowning. How did that band start? Who came up with the name? And yeah, that's it really.
Well, the drowning for me started as it was only an idea. That's all it was going to be, because I was speaking to a guy who I used to know from a band, and he had a home studio built in his house. And I got chatting to him at a mate's house party, and I was telling him like, "Oh yeah, I'm thinking of getting some recordings down. I got some ideas and stuff. Not sure if I want to start a band, but And he just said, "Well, come to the studio." He said, "Start laying some ideas down. Let's see what you got and see where it can go." So I told another friend who was into his music, and we've always been close ever since we were kids. And he's like, "Well, if you're going to lay some stuff down," he said, "let me do the vocals and the lyrics." And I was like, "Okay." So we got the vibe of what we wanted: old school 90s British doom death. And I said, because we're all into that. And he's like, "Yeah, cool, let's do that." So we started doing like the demo stuff. And when you're recording it, and then you start to think, actually, there's some songs coming here. Sorry, I went to low battery then. I just made an adjustment with the camera. For some reason, I went to low battery, although I'm on charge. How strange.
That's weird.
Anyway. Okay, could be, yeah. So yeah, we'd done these demo songs, and they started to come together quite well. And about 6 months later, I caught up with a friend of mine who I hadn't seen for a long time, so I found he was back in Cardiff living. And I phoned him up and I said, "I hear you're back in Cardiff. Do you still play guitar?" And he said, "Fucking, I haven't picked up the guitar in years." And he said, "Why?" I said, "Well, listen, I got this demo." So I played in the demo, and he's like, "Bloody hell, okay." He said, "Yeah, I'm interested." So then we had 2 guitars, vocals. We had session bass, session drummer for the demo stuff. So that's when I decided, I said, "Let's go and do a proper album. Let's work on an album, go and do it." So we did. And that was the first Drowning album, When the Light Was Taken From Us, in 2006. Wow. So, which came out on Copro Casket. But yeah, that was the very first, that was the start. So the name, going back to what you said about the name,
yeah,
that was something I just had an idea with, the Drowning. And people say, "Well, what is the Drowning?" And at the time, it was like, well, the Drowning is like almost like ritual murder. Sorry, I'm going. I've got an issue here, Jake. For some reason, this is not charging. Let me make an adjustment a sec.
That's all right. Just gonna get your band up on here so then I can look at all the albums again. I was going to say, was it 2003 you started?
With the demo stuff, yeah. Well, the name of the band and the early demo stuff, 2003, 2004, into 2005.
That came out in 2005.
Yeah. And then in 2006, we had the official release, like a proper release with When the Light Was Taken From Us. Yep. But yeah, it was. That's when things started becoming. This is getting a bit serious now, because we've actually had an official released album. So
yeah, it's your first album.
Yeah.
And did that go over well with people? Did people like it?
there's a lot of some of the online reviews were absolutely brilliant, and we had some good magazine reviews for it. Kerrang hated it. They thought they didn't like it.
Oh, Kerrang don't know nothing.
So, but you know, that was a massive blow. You know, Kerrang don't like it. Fuck it.
Kerrang don't like doom death. Come on.
But no, yeah. Then when we started the second album, that's when things started to come together properly for the band. You know.
Yeah,
So,
it's this Bleak Descent.
Descent, yeah, in 2008.
8, yeah, 2 years later.
Yeah. So that was a good one. That was the real feeling of the band, because we recruited Steve on drums.
Steve, yeah.
Who we found he worked in a music store in Newport, and
what do you know?
and James, the original vocalist,
just
happened to be in there.
Yeah.
And he wanted to put an advert in there for like drummer wanted. And when Steve seen him, he's like, "Oh, you're looking for a drum?" He said, "I drum." And he's like, "Oh, right, okay. You interested in joining a metal band?" And by the way, it's not traditional metal; it's doom death metal. But Steve, even to this day, he's just a part of us, you know.
Yeah.
Even with his music background, he's massively into his like general metal and rock, a bit of thrash, bit of death, and stuff like that. But he's fallen into the drowning bed perfectly. Like, you know, he's very comfortable.
Yeah, definitely. I can see that when he's on stage drumming, and
yeah,
everyone who's in the band now, before we get on to the members that are in the band now, everyone just seems to dwell together. You know,
like so
fit perfectly. That's what I meant to say. Bloody hell.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had only minor changes over the years, lineup wise.
Yeah, because if I remember correctly, I think a lot of people notice that they're into the porno grind, gore grind, death grind, you know, well, more porno grind. Anal for a while in the drowning. Is this true?
This is true.
This is
true. Yeah.
He was a bass player for a while.
Yeah, that's right. Mal was in the band for a good few years.
Yeah, I don't know why I say it's true. I know it's true. I've looked.
Yeah, he had his dreadlocks back then as well, but they weren't as long as they are now.
Dreadlocks. Yeah, I think he was just born with dreadlocks. Sorry, I interrupted you when I was saying that.
But yeah, we had it. I still speak to Mal now. I haven't seen him for ages because of this whole bloody lockdown last year.
Yeah, I haven't seen him.
You know, and everyone's.
I haven't seen him for a while. I haven't seen him for a while either.
Yeah, but he's he's old Mal. Yeah, he's doing his own project now with the Anal Floss's boss. Good luck to him. You know, he was more into that.
Yeah, when I heard that name, I was like, okay.
Yeah, fair play.
And well, because I actually put his band on back in 2016. Me and my mate Simon did the one-man band show, and his band was on the bill at the Griffin, nonetheless. So that was fun.
I know. When I first saw him perform, I was like, "How are you going to pull this off? Just you on a guitar with nothing else apart from samples," and it was just like fair play.
Samples, and pitch shifting vocals, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, some. Well,
I don't listen to that style. It's good for the comedy element. I'll give you that.
Oh yeah, definitely. For the comedy, yeah, it is fun. It's funny. You don't take it seriously.
No. No.
Yeah. How long was he in the band for?
Well, I think he joined around about 2006, maybe 7. I think it might have been 2007, and he left in 2000. I think he left just before we recorded the third album. Yes, he did, because he had a wrist injury, and he couldn't play bass. So 2000, he was in until 2011. and he couldn't play bass, so we had another bass player come in on that. So
trying to remember who that is now. What was his name?
well, he was I don't know where if he was from, Bristol way or something. Bunny? No,
Bunny.
he was a Welsh boy. Sorry,
Yeah, Bunny. Yeah, he's from.
Bunny. Yeah,
Oh, it
Bunny
just says
did.
United Kingdom on Metallum. It doesn't say where. It just says
Yeah.
United Kingdom.
Yeah, he was from Pembrokeshire. That's right. Yes. But now and then I bump into these people, you know.
I don't know. It
Just
just happens.
these
You bump
people.
into someone. You just bump into
Yeah.
these people and say, "Oh, do you want to be in a band?"
Yeah. But he was handed to us by Mal. He's just like, right, I can't do the bass. So Bunny, who knew us anyway, said he'd come in on bass. So it was like, yeah, that's fine. That's cool. So
it's like, take him.
Yeah.
Basically, take him.
Yeah.
Take him. I can't do it. I'm off. Bye. not like that. It's like, I'm off because of my wrist.
Yeah, exactly.
That is the bad thing for a musician to happen to a musician. You hurt your wrist or you break your fingers and you can't play your instrument.
Well, here's a fact for you. Steve, when we were recording This Bleak Descent, already had a broken wrist in plaster.
Oof.
And we were due to go into the studio, and James, our vocalist at the time, who was like, you know, he was one of those guys who got really panicky and like he frustrated if there was a problem or if there was going to be a problem. So he told Steve, he said, before you come and start the drums in the studio, you have to get that plaster cut off. I don't care how the break, if it's still healing, just get the plaster off, do the drumming, and then you can go back to the hospital and get the plaster put back on. And that's exactly what happened.
Steve had Bleak Descent.
Yeah. Just for that recording. So as soon as all the drum recording was finished, I think we'd done it over 1 or 2 weekends for the drums. Steve was able to go back and have his plaster put back on so he could heal. But I think he was in a bit of pain in places on those drum sessions. So,
it's a trooper though.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah, fair play to
you. Take your plaster off. You got to record some drums.
Yeah, that's exactly how it was, and that's exactly how James did it. He was just like, basically, get that plaster off. I don't care. Just get that plaster off. You're drumming.
I don't care. Get it off. It's like,
yeah.
All right. Here we go.
But yeah, great fun, mate. Great fun.
Great fun. So yeah, I was just talking about your vocalist. Who is it? James, isn't it?
Yeah, James, the vocalist on the first three. Well, he done the first 3 albums and the split album.
Yeah, because I've heard the stuff before you got Matt in the band.
Yeah, you can tell the difference straight away.
Yeah, before we get onto Matt, because James also has a really good voice as well.
Yeah,
I have to say.
James's style of vocal is different to Matt's style of vocal. You know, James was trying to do like different styles, especially if you listen to these vocals on Fall Jerusalem Fall album. He tried a few different styles there, with like a cleanish, not clean singing, you know, but you know, trying different styles and then a different bit of grit to his voice as well, you know, which I liked on Fall Jerusalem Fall. I think a lot of people think with This Bleak Descent, his vocals a little bit raspy, but he felt comfortable with that recording session on This Bleak Descent. And obviously when we did the split album with My Silent Wake, after This Bleak Descent, the vocals were still quite experimental again.
Some members do that.
Vocals
do that. Change their voice or something.
He wasn't sticking to one style, one formula. He was trying different things all the time. But
probably why the vocals are always different on the albums he was on anyway.
Yeah. Because if you listen to This Bleak Descent and then you listen to like Fall Jerusalem Fall, they're two different styles, but you know it's him, but he's trying different ideas.
Oh yeah,
So
definitely. You can definitely tell just by listening to it. And what was he like? Was he like as a person in general?
well, me and James are still very, very close. We're very good friends. We speak quite a lot on the phone. We talk about music and albums and stuff. But although James is not doing anything musically himself anymore,
No,
um,
because this was his last known band to be
yeah,
what I'm looking at.
he's still massively into his music. So, but yeah, he's a great guy, and we grew up together along with Jace, the guitarist. So the three of us have been friends since we were like teenagers.
That's cool.
So
So
it was kind of nice having the three of us in the band, three mates in the band. It was great, which is how a lot of bands were.
It just flowed because
Yeah.
you all grew up together. It all just flowed. So I thought, instead of just trying to find people you don't know, why not just form a band with two of your mates who you went to school with?
Yeah, we all lived like 3 or 4 streets apart from each other. And we all hung out together, back in the 80s with your denim and your leather and your bullet belts and all that.
Bullet belts. I've got a bullet belt somewhere.
That was the part of the attire back in the 80s. You had to have your bullet belt on,
Yeah, have your bullet belt on, your leather jackets, your denim with patches.
Denim over the top.
Denim over the top. That's
denim over the top of your leather, full of patches.
I got denim jackets. I got patches on them. I got a leather jacket, which one I didn't think will fit over, but my blue one will fit over it, so it'll be all right.
Oh yeah, we used to literally live in our jackets. They weren't the prettiest. They were literally wrecked, absolutely wrecked. But
pretty.
Yeah, good days, very good days. But no, so yeah, but having James and Jace in the band, was great. But James decided to leave in 2010. I don't think it was quite what he was looking for in the end. So he decided to leave. It was a bit of a blow at the time when he told me, because we were just about to record For Jerusalem Fall. And he said, I'll do the vocals as planned. But he said, as soon as the vocals are finished, I'm out of the band. I said, fine. So I wasn't even present in the studio for the vocal recording. So I didn't even know how he was going to turn out, what vocal style he was doing. I just left him to it. And when we got back into the studio and had playback, I'm happy with that. That's good. And I tried again to persuade him to stay after that. But now his mind was made up. So, but he's still a massive fan of the band. He loves what Matt is doing. He loves the new stuff. So
he's still great.
Yeah, he's still very supportive.
Yeah, that's great.
There's very good friends still. We always talk about lots of things.
That's awesome. He's a fan of the band he used to be in.
That's right. Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, he hasn't turned his back on us at all.
Yeah, because there's some musicians that just do that completely. They just turn their back on the band they used to be in.
Yeah,
but that's great. On the Drowning's part, that he's still a fan of the band, because obviously you went to school with him, you grew up with him, you're mates been mates for years and years now. So yeah, he's not going to turn your back on.
No, that's right.
Soon.
And it'd be quite sad if that did happen. Our friendship failed because of a band, But no, he's just like, guys, I'll support you all the way, but I don't want to be a part of it anymore. But I'm with you 100%. I'll support anything you do. So, and it's great. We've always been friends.
Yeah, awesome. And going from James, you bring in the man who's built like a shit brick house, Matt.
Yeah.
Matt's small, which is kind of ironic because he's not small at all.
He's not, no. Yeah. Well,
And
this
he
this
came in doing his gutturals and screams, which are just, you
yeah.
know, can't really think of a word. They're brilliant. Let's just say that.
Well, I was introduced to Matt, and it was through Bunny, the bass player who took over from Mal. And Matt was playing in a band called what they bloody called now.
I just had it.
It was in 2012. He was playing in Barfly or Bogies at the time. It was called. What were they called?
Matt was in
Manticore. Manticore.
Well, Matt was in a band called Necrosis.
Yeah, he was. But his the first band was Manticore.
Ah, okay.
And
yeah, that makes sense.
they, Bunny said, "Oh, they're playing." He said, "This guy might be interested in doing some vocals." So I went to the gig, and I checked him out on stage. I thought, "Oh yeah, he looks the part. Like his vocals are great. You know, nice heavy vocal." So I introduced to him at the end of the gig, and I said, "Look, do you want to have a meeting one evening in a pub? I'll chuck you some Drowning stuff so you can get the gist of it, see if you're interested." And he said, "Yeah, great." So we had the meeting. He took the CDs away, had a listen, and then we arranged a rehearsal. So I'd give him like 2 songs to learn. And he came to rehearsals. And within 10 minutes, 20 minutes of doing the one track, I was like, yeah, man, this is good. I got a good feeling about this. So, and then he decided to write his own stuff as well, which we were working on, which was for the upcoming Senescent Signs album. And
that's a great album. Love that album.
Yeah, he was doing the vocals rehearsals for that, and we were like, yeah, this is good, because it was all his own original stuff, his original lyrics, his own titles and stuff. So it was all Matt's, own work on that. So, and yeah, brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, very, very talented vocalist. He always seems to be the one. This is what I've noticed. He's the one who sweats the most. He doesn't do a lot of moving on stage.
Yeah.
he always seems to come off. His hair's drenched in sweat. His clothes are drenched in sweat. Everyone else didn't even break a sweat.
Yeah.
It's always him, and I'm just like,
yeah.
Okay.
He's the one putting all the effort in, I think.
Putting all the effort in. Everyone, you're just there, like, obviously you're there head banging and doing your bits of backing vocals from time to time.
Yeah.
And it's him who's just even though he's not moving from that one spot.
No. And he did, like you say, he does come off literally dripping. But
he's just dripping in sweat. And if anyone who has seen the Drowning live and has seen Matt on stage, yes, he's always drenched in bloody sweat. Not blood and sweat, but just sweat.
Yeah.
Once if he did just come off and he was just bleeding from his nose. It's like,
yeah.
So Matt comes into the band. You done the first album with, not the very first album, you did that with James. I mean, the first album you had him on.
Yeah.
Which is a fantastic album. I love it.
Yeah, Senescent Signs, that came together very well. But I don't know if you know the story behind that, where
I don't. What's the story?
We started recording it in, I got to think now. I think it was released in 2016. So I think we started recording in 2014, maybe late 2013. Yeah, that sounds about right. And we were working in a studio with a guy called Joe Thompson, who's a really good musician and producer. And he was doing loads of bands at the time, loads of metal bands. And we started doing Senescent Signs with him. And it was in the summertime, and the heat in the studio was unbearable because you couldn't open the windows in there. It wasn't good. And literally after doing, luckily we didn't do all the album. I think it was just like the rhythm guitars and the drums were already down and the bass. So there's no vocals, no lead guitars, no solos or keyboard sections. So it was like half done. When the hard drive in the studio where everything was backed up, supposedly backed up, literally suffered from like the heat in the studio, and it literally fried. So they lost all our recording. All the data's just gone. And he broke it to me, and he was like, "I'm trying to retrieve it. I'm going to go and see a guy who's going to try and retrieve it." Anyway, that didn't happen. It couldn't be retrieved. So we sat back and we thought, right, okay, we're going to have to start from scratch again and re-record. And we did. I think we went back in the November. So we took the rest of the summer out, thought about it, worked on the songs again. And the songs were actually better the second time round than the first time. So it was a blessing in the end. So by the time we did finish all the recording and got it out there, it was 2016 when the label decided to release it. So it was like a 3-year ball ache of just... So at one point, I thought at one point, this album's not coming out. It's just not going to come out. End of. But it did. It came out, and we were happy with it. You know, it was definitely a step away from what we did with James. So, but yeah.
Yeah, he just went from James, who experimented with his vocals, to Matt, who doesn't really experiment with his vocals. He only knew what sort of vocals he wanted to do, stuck with them, and every time I hear him do his vocals live, they always remain at that high level. They don't go quiet at any point.
No. So it was perfect for us. It was like, you know, a lot of people said on the Senescent Signs album that the vocals were just like, oh, well, they're just like death metal most of the way through, or black death metal. I was like, yeah, that's what we want. That is what we want. We didn't want to be messing around anymore with experimental vocals. We wanted the band to take on this more solid, driven, you know, style of doom death. So
yeah,
and we like Matt's vocals. It just suits exactly what the genre are about now, you know.
Yeah, definitely suits what you just said. Not going to repeat it, but it suits the band to an absolute T. You've done a lot of gigs. You've done festivals as well, and like I'm just trying to think festivals you've done. I don't know what others you've done in the UK, but I know you've gone over to Malta with Matt.
That was Well, that was the sad thing about 2020, because we lost a lot of gigs in 2020. You know, we were going back over to Holland and Belgium again, which we got a great little fan base over there, and there's some great guys, good promoters over there who always put on great gigs. So we missed out on that. We were supposed to be going to Sardinia to do a Doom Fest in Sardinia in the September, but obviously all that 2020, you can forget it. Plus there was UK shows booked, you know. So yeah, 2020 pissed us right off. So, but we haven't sat on our backsides, you know. We've got back in the rehearsal rooms and we're writing the next one now, so which is going well. So
awesome. That's what I like to hear. Hear. Because getting back onto bands that you've supported, you supported them at the Old England. Godfrey.
Oh, Godfrey, yeah. Hamish
from that was great.
Yeah.
That was what 2018 or 2019?
Yeah, one of them. Yeah, it might have been 20.
I think it was about March 2019.
It would have been 2018 March.
Yeah, in March 2018. Yeah,
2019 March. I don't know.
Something like that. It was
Yeah.
March. It was
But
March.
yeah, well, there you go. Because Hamish came from My Dying Bride, and it's nice to see him again doing his own stuff. You know, outside of like a big band like Bride. But you know, I'm a massive fan of My Dying Bride. You know that.
Yeah, they're a great band, and I still
Goes
need to
without
see them
saying.
live.
Same with bands like Anathema and Paradise Lost, and you know, massive influence on the Drowning. I will say, you know, all three bands.
I was literally about to ask, were those bands a massive influence? But now you've just pretty much answered that.
Yeah, definitely.
Did you know Hamish before that? Did you ever meet Hamish?
I met Hamish when the Drowning actually played a gig in up in Leeds, and we were playing with another doom death band called The Prophecy, and who became good friends of ours. They're still going, but I don't know what they're actually up to now. They've done about 5 albums, I think. But yeah, we were very close at the time. So they invited us up to do this gig with them in Leeds, plus some other bands. And 3 members of My Dying Bride are in the crowd. And I thought, oh, wow, this is cool, because it's practically on their doorstep. So after we come off stage, we were at the bar. We were chatting with Hamish and Andy, the other guitarist from My Dying Bride. So we had a good old conversation at the bar. So and when I met, where did I meet? I'd met Hamish. I met Hamish before again when he was in Valenfire. He was doing guitars in Valenfire with Greg McIntosh, and
that's right.
I think it was in the Exchange in Bristol actually when I saw Valenfire, and I was chatting to him.
That's when I first saw Valenfire, and I saw him again at Temples Fest.
Yeah,
and then I know Bloodstock. That was the last time I saw him. Bloodstock 2016.
Yeah,
and then I met Gregor McIntosh at Leeds at Damnation Fest in 2018, and this is all I said to start the conversation. Really love Paradise Lost. He's like, oh, thanks, mate.
Yeah,
that's it.
He's a nice guy, Greg McIntosh. You know.
Oh yeah, definitely. We had a nice chat about things, and bands, and got a picture with him as well. Yeah, I'm really missing his really long hair, and then he had dreadlocks, and now he's got an undercut, and I don't know what he wants to do with his hair anymore.
I don't think he knows.
I think he's just like, no, undercut, no dreadlocks, no undercut, no, oh fuck.
But I haven't checked out his new band, mind. I can't think what they're called now. He's got another band now.
Oh, awesome.
Because Valenfire have obviously gone now. They're
disbanded, yeah.
But he's got another one. I can't think for the life of me the name, but I think it's on the same vibe again of that sort of crusty, grindy.
Yeah, crusty death metal.
Yeah.
You know, and the sounds very Swedish inspired, I have to say.
Definitely. Got that very grindy, old school sound.
Yeah, because I got the foot pedal that a lot of the Swedish bands used or still use now.
Oh, the
Boss HM2 Distortion pedal, heavy metal Distortion
that's
pedal.
it, yeah.
And
the legend.
I was like, wow.
I think you just got to turn everything up on it.
Yeah, you can't just go like, oh, just put the gain down. No.
Yeah.
The rule is you turn everything up.
Yeah, just turn it all up.
Hot, nasty, but beautiful to us.
Yeah.
Disgusting sound on your guitar.
But I remember hearing that, that guitar tone when you look at things like Left Hand Path and things like Ever Flowing Stream,
Stream,
and some like they're practically the same bands when you think of Dismembered, Entombed, Carnage, and stuff like that.
Yeah, Carnage. That's great.
There's a cat. Sorry,
That's all
but
right.
yeah,
You're welcome.
there you go.
Hello.
That's it.
No, I'm
But
not interested.
that whole guitar tone was just, wow, that's fucking heavy.
Oh yeah, definitely, because it's like a buzz saw sort of
Yeah,
sound. Because when the guitars are playing, it's like, again, it's like a buzzsaw's being used
yeah,
or something. And I
yeah.
always liked it. I thought, I need this pedal. What's this pedal called? Oh, Boss HM2 Heavy Metal Distortion pedal. But people were saying, get the one from Japan. Because there's
All
one in
right.
Taiwan.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't know that, so that's
I didn't know
interesting.
that. And so it's like, oh, made in Taiwan. Like, but then people saying, oh, we used the one from that was made in Japan.
Mhm.
Okay. As long as I can do that sound with it, that's great.
I bet people charge a fair bit for them now. Some of those retro pedals.
I know. Yeah, I paid quite a bit for it. Not a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but I just thought I need one. I want
Yeah.
one. I want one. And
I
I was
might,
like, oh, I'm going to test it out. There's no
yeah,
battery in it. Oh, bollocks.
I might buy one day just to try it, just to see
I
if
was disappointed.
see if I can get that
You
tone.
won't.
Not for the drowning, but I mean just for
Not for the drowning, because the drowning you already sorted your
yeah,
sound for that.
just for home use,
Yeah, just home use. For me, I'm using it for my death metal band, but
Yeah.
I'll talk about that. And it's like, well, with the drowning, because you had Bunny for a while on bass, and then now you got Dickie.
Good old Dickie boy,
So Dickie Boy or Richard Moore.
Richard Moore.
But we all call him Dickie.
Yeah, but yeah, Dickie's a good boy, and he's very, very talented as well.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Because every time I see him, he's like, "You all right, mate?"
Yeah,
Like,
that's him.
yeah, I'm good. How are
Yeah,
you?
well, he came from. He was, I think, at the time sharing a house with Matt in Cardiff, and then I got introduced to him, and things weren't gelling at the time with Bunny and the guys, and I was just trying to keep everything afloat. And
keep the peace, as it were.
yeah, basically. And Dickie stepped in one day on bass. We were doing a gig, and he literally stepped in the same day. He had to learn the songs in a day for the set. And so after that, the boys were like pressuring me and like, come on, Dickie's such a good guy. He's a brilliant musician, blah, 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 blah. And in the end, I was just like, do you know what? Yeah.
Yeah, just get Dickie.
Things aren't working. There's a little bit of upset in the camp, which I don't want. So there's only one way to resolve this, and I'm going to follow you guys and say, yes, get Dickie on board. And I tell you what, best thing we ever done.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. Best thing, because he is such a great musician. Because I think now he's playing in Desecration, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and he's so passionate about what he does. Oh, yeah, he doesn't just like, oh yeah, I'll just do this. He's really genuinely into it. Like you say, because he's playing for bands like ENT and Desecration, where he's doing all the extreme stuff. He likes being in the drowning, so he can experiment more as a bass player. It gives him a lot more room to open up, where he's not just following what the rhythm guitars are doing or following. When he's in the drowning, he's just left to his own thing. He can just write all his own bass lines. And it's great for us just to have someone with that ability who can just go, yeah, I know exactly what to do there.
I know what to do. I'm doing this.
Yeah, and it works every time. So yeah, definitely keep in old Dickie boy.
Keep old Dickie boy. Don't get rid of him anytime soon.
No.
Well, actually, don't get rid of any of the guys you're with at the moment, because you're all such a great bunch of guys. You're all good friends and everything.
Yeah, the lineup as it is. Yeah, sorry, Jay. The lineup it is at the moment is great. It's
Yeah,
I
definitely.
love the boys to bits. They're brilliant guys. They're great to hang out with. You know, we're always having a laugh and a joke. There's no tension.
No, that's good.
Um, we've had many house parties at various members' houses. It's great. Everyone gets on so well.
Yeah, I get on with everybody in the band. Every time
Yeah,
I've seen you guys, always go up to Matt and then see you guys have a chat. Everyone just seems in
yeah,
a good place.
yeah. That's right. Yeah, we enjoy what we do at the end of the day. We
Yeah,
really
definitely.
enjoy it, and we enjoy the support. And every time we've come over to Bristol and played, it's just great. The people are great, and we still love playing the
Yeah,
Griffin. As small as the Griffin is,
yeah.
it's just a good place to play. And it's a
Oh
good
yeah, definitely.
atmosphere, and everyone's very friendly.
Oh yeah, definitely. And ever since I heard the Drowning for that first time, might have been about 2014, 15 maybe. I'm trying to think now.
Yeah, yeah,
I was like, oh, I love this. Because I think I met Matt first before I even knew he was in that band at a gig, and he said, "Oh, I'm in a band called The Drowning, but there's nothing with my vocals on it yet. But have a listen." Heard it. I was like, and then obviously the vocals I heard was James, and then I
yeah,
heard the album we just mentioned, and which he's on, the first one he appeared on.
yeah.
I was like, I like Matt's vocals better because it fits a lot better. Nothing against James if he watches this.
No,
Nothing against James. He's got great vocals. And if I had a band similar, I'd say, "Oh, do you want to do some vocals for an album I'm doing?" If he says yes, brilliant.
yeah,
I won't turn
no,
him down.
no. It's great. He's
But yeah, Matt Matt fits it well. He's got a big stage presence, not because he's jacked up and goes to the gym pretty much every time he gets. Because he's because everyone else is like, yeah, I'm just average build. There's your sinner.
yeah, yeah.
It's like,
Plus, they,
oh, yeah. Sorry,
if you're going to have a front man, have a front man. Someone
have a
who's
front
just
man.
got
That's him.
a good presence.
Good presence. Yeah, it's like obviously everyone's got a front man, and then a lot of front men don't seem to have a overwhelming presence. But when I see Matt on stage with you guys, he's just there. He hasn't got to do anything. He hasn't
Yeah,
got to dress up or anything. He's just there.
yeah. That's it. People love that. They just love. You know, because most of the time in a crowd, people will watch the vocalist. If it's a 5-piece and there's a guy on vocals, most people are glued to the vocalist more than the drummers or the guitarist. It's always the vocalist who's the
Mm.
center stage, and he does it very well, Matt.
Yeah,
He
he's
keeps
brilliant.
that good sort of presence on stage.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I can agree with that. And going back to the Drowning, you're on a record label, and I think a lot of people know the record label. Transcending Obscurity,
Transcendent Obscurity, that's him, yeah.
which I've discovered a lot of various death metal bands on there,
Some
and then
great
finding out
bands.
that you guys are on there, and Warcrab,
Yeah,
and like, yeah, this label suits them because there's a lot of very similar sounding bands, not similar, but heavy.
yeah,
That's what I mean by similar, heavy.
yeah. They got some really good bands on their label.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I
Like
do
I just
like
mentioned
Paganizer, the Swedish
Paganizer.
death metal band. They're
Yeah, there's
good.
a Roger's, one of Roger Johansson's various bands. Paganizer, Revolting, his own band with his own name. He's done stuff with Cam Lee,
Yeah,
and he's just done so much stuff.
great, isn't it? Yeah.
And how did that happen? How did you get on that record label?
Well, we were with a PR company called Imperative PR. We signed up to them when we brought out Senescent Signs, just for the little bit more of a boost. Try and get the name out there a bit more and stuff like that. So, because Senescent Signs was already in the bag with Copper Oak Casket, they said, with your next album, we'll push to get you on a label, You know, we'll do the whole label search for you and stuff like that. So there was another label which they were kind of like toying who to go with, and it was another label called Agrona Records. But they do normally black metal bands and stuff like that, because I was looking on their label and I thought, are we actually suited for this kind of label, you know? And then Transcended Obscurity, who had already reviewed previously Senescent Signs, say, although it wasn't even nothing to do with Transcending, they liked the album. So when they knew we were doing a new one, Imperative PR put the album over to them, and they were like, yeah, this is great, you know, we'll take it. And then we were put in touch with the label so they could discuss how they want to do layouts and stuff like that with artwork. And although the artwork was nothing to do with them, that was we sourced that through, I'll go into that in a minute. But the label said they do all this fancy artwork, finish, you know, and packaging and that. And I was just like, great. So we ended up with like nice box sets for the albums and lovely digipack CDs and colourful vinyl and stuff like that. So that going from like just having basic packages on the albums to like going onto a label with all these fancy like digipacks, gatefolds and stuff like that was brilliant, you know. And they still, if you look at most of Transcendent's releases, they're all brilliant.
Yeah,
absolutely, you know.
Yeah, definitely, because all the albums seem to have, like you just said, digipacks and boxes and colourful vinyl and you know, and even cassettes. I've noticed.
Yeah, I noticed it too. I hope they do it. I'm not really into like going backwards and doing cassettes, but I know what people say. Oh yeah, but I know it was part of the 80s and the tape trading and all like that. But CD and vinyl's good enough for me. I wouldn't.
Some bands do that. They release like a small demo on the tape that
you
can buy. It was like, but I don't have a tape player. I might as well just.
If someone handed me a tape today, I'd be like, well, where do I put this then? And what do I put this in? Because I haven't got a tape player.
I got tapes. I don't play them.
Yeah.
They're more like collector's items more than anything, and I don't trust myself with a tape player. Don't trust to put it in one just in case the tape player chews it up.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to find a good tape player these days.
But
no,
but the label are great, you know, and they outdid the album well. So yeah. Plus we've signed up now for another few albums with them. So
nice. That'll be great, because the album you released with them, and tell us that title.
The Radiant Dark.
The Radiant Dark. Such a great album, because the first song I heard from that is what's the song? There's a lot of great songs on that album. I'm trying to remember the one I heard.
If it was part of their sort of promo release, it could have been In Cold Earth.
That's the one, In Cold Earth. And as soon as I heard that, I was like, well, I'm gonna know. I know I can't get words out. I know I'm gonna like the album, but just by hearing that, that's my favorite one from the album.
Yeah,
because there's no like acoustic intro of it. It just goes straight into the music.
Yeah,
it's like burn, you know.
Yeah, it was.
They don't disappoint.
Go on, you can ask me anything about the album, because I can tell you whatever you want to know.
Well, I didn't actually. Well, I was going to ask this about the other albums, but how long did it take to record? Well, this one, should I say?
Again, we didn't rush it. So
you can't rush it.
Senescent Signs came out in 2016, so I think we started in about 2017, properly recording in 2018. And is that right?
I don't know.
I'm trying to think.
It feels like you're asking me this. I don't know.
I'm trying to think when the album. 2019, the album came out.
Yeah, 2019.
2019 it came out. Yeah. So it
Oh,
was
my head's
finished. I
spinning.
think it was finished.
Yeah,
It was
2019.
finished in 2018. But we had to wait for the label to release it because we were part of their sort of like, you know, all the bands on their roster were all at a place of release. So we had to sit in a queue basically.
Oh, so you had to wait until whichever album was before your album to get
Yeah.
released first, and then release
Yeah.
your album. Okay. At
But
least I know that for whenever one of my bands gets on the label, I'm like, oh, when's it coming out?
yeah.
It's like, here's the
Hopefully the
date.
next,
Fine.
yeah.
Oh, wait, it's fine. It's fine. Release my album.
Hopefully next time we can rush the album through because I'll say to the guy, just look, come on, let's get a nice early release on this because it's all
look,
fit.
it's done. Just get it out.
Yeah, it's done. Don't sit on it. Just get it out there.
Because I think I was waiting for absolutely ages just for that to drop. I was like, where is the new album? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
Yeah.
Where the hell's this album?
Yeah. It was it was frustrating for us as well, waiting as well, But
we
got
talking
there.
to Dickie about it as well, and he's saying, "Oh yeah, we've done it in 2018. Now we're just waiting for it to be released."
Yeah.
I don't know how long you got to wait. I don't know what record labels are like, but
yeah. Oh.
With like releasing albums because they probably like, oh wait, there's albums first, and then it goes down. And there you go.
Well, it's like Nuclear Blast took so long to release My Dying Bride's latest album. I can't think of the bloody title of that either.
Oh, The Ghost of Orion.
That's it. That's it.
I love that album.
It took ages to come out, that did. It was finished for a long time.
Finished for a long time. I don't know if they were meant to release it 2019, but they released it in 2020.
Yeah.
That year.
Yeah.
We'll push that to one side.
Yes. I was just like, where's this Bride album? Where is it?
Where is the MDB album?
Yeah.
I don't know, Bride people.
Unbelievable. So yeah, labels can't drag their heels a bit.
No, that's right. And that album came out, and also you did a music video.
Yes,
songs which took bloody ages to get released as well.
Yeah, that did as well. Prometheus Blinded. We were sat on that video for months and months and months. Couldn't do a thing with it.
Yeah, because I saw pictures from behind the scenes and stuff, and thought,
yeah,
this is going to be great.
Yeah,
and obviously because I think Shelley was there, because Shelley and Dickie are going out.
That's right.
Was she doing makeup or something? I think she
was.
That's
it. Yeah.
Yeah, she was doing the makeup, and I'm thinking, oh, Shelley's there. She's doing makeup.
Yeah.
And then see the video and see Matt with bloody white-head out eyes and everything.
That's it.
Okay, he looks like you can just put him in a horror film. He'll just fit perfectly.
It was great. We had great fun that day. It was freezing.
It was a great video. Video. Where was it filmed?
It was in an old aircraft hangar down in near Cardiff Airport. And it was a place where they kept movie props. So if you're watching the video again, next time you're watching the video, you see these like sort of Roman style columns in the background. They're polystyrene, but
not
real. They look authentic, but you can literally lift them up with one hand. So we're like, can we use these as props? Can we just like use these polystyrene, Roman columns? And the guy was like, who was running the place, yeah, just chuck in whatever you want, like. So we planked a couple of them in the background, but it's great fun doing that video.
I like the video. It was just basically, I mean, it was shot in black and white, or was it black and white, or was it colour?
Yeah, just black and white. Yeah,
black and white, and I think that's better if you just added colour in the last minute. I don't think it would have worked. Being black and white, it's like you just add it at the start of a horror film or something, or any film. It'll just fit perfectly, or at the end of a film, and you just add the film in bits and pieces of the film or whatever. It just looks like a song you would put in a film anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great fun.
I was just because I was like about the album taking too long to get out, and then the music video taking too long to get out. I was just like, I know they're doing it. I know they're doing a music video. It's like someone asked, "How do you know they're doing a music video?" I've seen bloody pictures.
Yeah. Well, that was it because the label had the video, the video being passed over to the label, and like, nope, you can't show it until I've had this promoted. After 2 weeks of me showing the video, you can have the video and do what you want with it. So we had to let the label use the video. After 2 weeks of the label doing it, then we could have it and just, it's just the way shit works.
Yeah, you just got to be patient, I guess.
Yeah. So,
but it all pays off in the end because I think you had a lot of magazines and reviewers talking about the album.
Yeah, I remember saying to Dickie, I said to him, "What the hell's happened with the Radiant Dark?" I said it's going down very well. I said they're raving about it, and it was just one of those things where you think, "Oh well, okay, that's turned out well." Yeah. I mean, we were pleased with the album, but you don't know what the general public are going to think about it, or the media.
No, you never know.
You know, the media, they look anything, they slate it, they'll just slate it for the hell of slating it. But but no, fair play. It attracted, all kinds of metal reviewers.
Yeah, I absolutely love the album. It just stands out as one of the best albums to come out in 2019. I mean, there's I've got a lot of favorite albums on that year. That's one of them.
Yeah.
Well, it's just heavy. It's dark in a lot of areas because you guys have been described as dark doom death.
Yeah.
Doom death.
Dark doom death. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's it. But it's I can see why, because the music's quite dark.
Yeah.
In a lot of places, especially on the first album Matt was on.
Yeah.
Senescent Signs. It's very dark, like some of the intros and stuff.
Yeah, some real dark stuff on that.
Like the House of the Tragic Poet.
Oh yeah.
How that opens up.
Yeah. That's a good slab of doom, that is.
Good slab of doom, and hearing it live is just something.
Yeah. Yeah, because
any of your music.
It's a slow song, but then it picks up towards the end. It's got an energy, So it's
like slow, and all of a sudden it goes a bit faster, and then it ends.
Yeah.
But it's like 9 minutes long.
Yeah.
All your songs are long.
We're trying to write a couple of shorter songs for this next album, but we're not having much luck at the moment. They seem to be creeping over the 7-minute mark all the time.
I'll laugh if I see on your next album a song's like 13 minutes long. I'm just like, they talked about this.
Yeah, it is hard. I find it as a writer, trying to write a short song is, I don't know. I'm sort of, if someone said to me, "You got 5 minutes, there you go," I'm like, blimey, 5 minutes.
Is that it?
It's going to take 3 minutes just for the intro guitars, and
add pianos and.
That's right. Yeah.
The odd bit of female vocals or operatic vocals or something, because you had a female vocalist on Senescent Signs.
Yes, she was actually first featured on our split album with My Silent Wake, and she was on a track called Arclight, and I met her. I can't remember when. She was saying about she did this like really nice singing for the BBC Wales choir, and she said, if you're ever interested in me doing stuff for your band, let me know. So I told James at the time, and he's like, "Yeah, get her in. Let's see what she can do." So she did the track Arclight, and when we were doing Senescent Signs, I told Joe in the studio about her, and he's like, "Why don't you bring it in? See if she can do some stuff on this." So he mentioned it to the boys, and they were like, "Yeah, why not?" So she came in, and she'd done a couple of bits on Senescent Signs, and she added a real haunting vibe to it,
Oh yeah, I can definitely hear that on the She did 2 songs on Senescent Signs.
She did, yeah. She did the Lament of Faustus, which is the last song.
Yeah.
And she did House of the Tragic Poet.
House of the Tragic Poet, yeah, she done that.
And I think
Yeah,
there might be a little bit of her on Never Rest as well.
Yeah, Never Rest. Hang on. I got to remind myself of this now.
Yeah.
I'm going to listen to the album again. What's a bloody name? No, I found it. Well, it just says female vocals. It doesn't tell me what song she was on, but I think she's on Never Rest.
Yeah, there's a little bit of her on Never Rest as well.
Yeah, because she does she just does not actually saying any words. She's just doing a lot of art, not vocals. I can't
No, it's just
think of the damn word.
Just like vocal harmony she's doing. She's not
harmony. She's just doing
there's no lyrics. No.
Like on Never Rest, Matt's doing his scary, whispery sort of vocals, and there's her just doing a harmony, and it just somehow it just fits.
Yeah, it works so well. Yeah.
There's times where I've actually was weeping because it was just so beautifully done.
Yeah.
Even on House of the Tragic Poet, you hear Matt do his phenomenal scream, and then you get a harmony, and it's that just gets goosebumps. I just get goosebumps listening to that. That's why that's one of my favourite songs on the album.
Yeah, that's one we always like to play live. We like to chuck that one in the set, because it's got a good vibe.
Yes, it's brilliant, and it's brilliant. And also on the Radiant Dark, that's also a very well done album, and you played songs from that, from gigs.
Yeah.
Not last year. I can bugger off.
2019. Yeah. 2019, we were playing stuff off the Radiant Dark. Tracks like Prometheus Blinded, which is the video track. In Cold Earth.
Yeah, I love that. That's my favourite one.
Yeah, and we used to do Harrowed Path as well. We chucked that in live. But when we do go back now playing live again, when that's going to be, when the world gets back to some sort of normality,
whenever it happens,
we're going to play a lot of stuff off the Radiant Dark,
definitely.
So, and as well as Senescent Signs and a bit of old stuff as well.
Yeah, but mainly the most recent one.
Yeah, let's say we're not going to bother too much about the old stuff now. Maybe 1 or 2 tracks in a set, but it's depending the length of the sets. It might be 1 track. It might be no tracks if the sets are short. Depends where your slot is.
Yeah, it all depends.
So
it all depends. And also, sorry, you say what you're going to say first.
No,
you go on.
So
no, I was going to say you were also in my silent wake for a long time.
Yes, I was doing live guitars with Ian. For quite a few years.
Vocalist.
Yeah.
Ian, yeah, he's a nice bloke.
Yeah, who now lives in what he's moved from, because he used to live in Weston-super-Mare.
Yep.
But now he lives in West Wales, in Carmarthen. So I'm going to be going down to see him as soon as I can, which is probably going to be around February time. So
it depends when they lift lockdown restrictions and tiers.
Yeah.
Because what tier is Wales in?
Are we in 3 or 4? 4?
4?
4, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe, but yeah, less about that the better.
Yeah. But yeah, so I was doing live guitars with Ian for a while, and then I had to concentrate on the doing the drowning stuff with the boys and getting in the studio. So he found another live guitarist and full-time member, which was great. So it freed up some time for me to concentrate on the drowning. But yeah, Ian and all the boys in my Silent Wake, very good bunch of guys. You know, Adam on bass, he's brilliant. Adam Wesley.
Adam's great.
Yeah, lovely bloke. Good laugh. And you know, Gareth, obviously, from Amputated, the drummer.
Yeah, he's great, because when I saw someone play drums the first time, obviously it was Amputated, him going
Yeah.
and always just like okay, I'm sorry, is this the same drummer I've seen live?
It's mad, isn't it?
Goes from playing blast beats to just simple drumming, really.
Yeah, but he's a lovely guy, you know. They all are, Ian, and
yeah, he's lovely bloke.
they're all a great bunch of guys, and we've always got them.
Yeah, he always got on, and because I watched one video and I'm trying to remember which song it is. Oh, and so it comes to an end. It's in that music video. And there's a keyboard player in there.
Simon.
And I've never seen. Every time I've seen my Silent Wake live, I've never seen him at any of the shows like playing live. Maybe one, but I don't know.
I think he lives up in Sheffield, so a lot of the time he can't make the gigs.
Oh, that makes sense.
So, but when he does, oh yeah, he's funny. But he's such a good laugh, Simon. He's one of those guys you think, oh, he looks a bit quiet, but if you're out drinking with him, he's a good lad.
Yeah, because I heard the song, and so it comes to an end on my CD, but then I listened to the video. The only difference is I hear keyboards in the video version, but I don't hear it on like the CD version.
Right.
Which is different. I'm thinking, then I heard that, I was like, the keyboards fit. Is when they do that, like the and then it goes back into the
yeah, you can hear the keyboard quite dominant. Yeah,
it's like, oh, this feels like some My Dying Bride stuff. My Silent Wake, My Dying Bride. Why didn't you guys do a show? I don't know.
Yeah,
it would have been called My Silent Dying Wake Bride Tour. I don't know.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, that would have worked.
Yeah, my dying bride at My Silent Wake. I don't know. Okay, that sounds stupid. Let's stop there.
My dying Silent Wake. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been good. Even the Drowning doing show, just opening for My Dying Bride would be great. That would be a great sight to behold.
Yeah, that'd be if someone said to me, who would you like to play with? I think Bride and Paradise Lost would definitely be on my list. Definitely.
Because you got influences from both bands. You mixed it in with the Drowning, but also mixing other bands in, because obviously getting Matt in, he's a big fan of like death and black metal.
Yeah.
So he's got his influences. Everyone else has got their influences. You just mix them in, and then there you go. You got the Drowning. He's like, you got these bands and these bands. Smush them together. You got these guys.
And that's what this is how it turns out. Yeah.
And that's how it turns out. And you know what? If you guys didn't exist, and it's like, who am I going to find that's going to be heavy and dark and very beautiful in its own little way?
Yeah.
Can't think of anyone really. Well, I can, but I mean, like doing the stuff that you do.
Yeah, and I think we tend to stick to our own ideas and formulas, you know. But I don't tend to listen to too much doom metal anyway. I don't buy it. It's just I buy the bands I know, but I don't go searching for like all new doom death bands, because
no, I kind of stopped looking for a lot of those bands. Not that I'm sick of the genre. It's just like, I know what bands I like. I stick with them.
Yeah.
Actually, I do that with more brutal death. I got into the brutal death metal bands that I like, and I just can't be bothered to go and check any more out, because I don't know if they're just going to sound like one of my other favorite bands, or they're not, or they don't sound good. I don't know, but
yeah,
you know, I always try to find bands that have their own little unique sound, like you guys, for example. and
Hmm.
My Dying Bride and Paradise Lost and Hooded Menace and bands like that.
Yeah.
But then people might think, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know what I'm talking about sometimes, but I think because every band's got their own sound. They might sound like the bands that came out of their area, but they all got their own little flair, as it were.
Yeah, that's right. I listen to a lot of black metal. That's my main genre of music I listen to. Like sort of more of the atmospheric black metal, and depressive black metal is very good. It's quite creative, and that's why I like those styles of black metal so much, because I can relate it to the doom death style we're doing. It's got a quite a downbeat feeling.
Yeah, definitely. I like a lot of these
rather
bands.
than some of these hyper fast black metal bands with these big polished productions. And you know, I like the sort of downbeat black metal, which has got still, still good productions, don't get me wrong, but the vibe is totally sort of, quite dark and sinister.
Yeah, that's what I got from those bands. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong here, but I love Dark Funeral. I know they're
Yeah,
one of those bands that's more like what you just said, the more fast-paced, hyperactive sort of ones. I still like them, but then I listen to like more atmospheric black metal bands like In the Woods, which
brilliant
is more
bands.
brilliant band.
Yeah,
Who are more like you just said, the more atmospheric type black metal. I would listen to that because I think I get more ideas from something like that than I would if I was listening to a band that was like ultra fast.
yeah,
Like I mentioned earlier, Cytotoxin. I can't play their stuff. Could probably do the vocals to an extent, but there you go.
yeah. Well, I said this, like you say, we're in a genre which I don't listen to much of. You know, the drowning is the drowning. I just treat it as its own thing. I don't want to be surrounded by 50 bands all doing stuff which we do. I don't want to know. I don't want to know about it. I just want to
No,
listen
definitely.
to music away from our genre, and it gives me room then to do what I want to do in our band.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense because like I got a folk metal band as well. I always
Okay.
listen to folk metal bands as well, but then I go back to listening to death metal bands because I'll get ideas from them to put in
Yeah.
this band. So like I'll take a death metal riff, but then change it from what the riff actually sounds like. Because they'd be like, "That's a riff on a flute. You stole it, but it's on a flute." I don't want to steal riffs. I just want to, because when
Yeah.
you get
Yeah.
a riff idea, it sounds like a band you like. It's riff.
Yeah.
So like, gonna have to change it
There's
because
all.
I had a riff for my death metal band, but it sounded like one bit from the song Cromlech from Dark Throne.
I know.
It
Yeah.
sounded very similar. I was like, oh crap, I'm gonna have to change this now,
Well, it's
or at
like,
least play it a little bit slower.
even with us when we're writing stuff, there's certain riffs and stuff I come up with, and I think that reminds me of something, but what is it? And a lot of the time I think, well, it's working for me in our track, so I don't care if it sounds like someone or whatever. It's not gonna turn out like their song or whatever.
Yeah, no, it's not going to turn out like their song. You're just going to have a riff that sounds very similar to what they do, but it's in your song, and and there's other riffs over that riff or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. So it doesn't
So
take the same path as theirs. So
yeah, exactly. And I'm trying to think. I was trying to think of a band now, like riff wise. Oh, that's it. There's the band Nails, if you know
I
them.
I know of them.
Yeah, they're more on the like.
Mm.
They're sort of like power violence type or hardcore death metal sort of thing.
Yeah.
And one of the riffs, if you because the singer played the riff on one of Nails songs, and then he put territory Territory by Sepultura, and the riffs sound very alike, just played a little bit different. It was like, he said, it wasn't intentional, it just came out that way.
That's it. I got bands which I listen to and I think, oh, I got to pause that because that sounds like blah, blah, blah. And then you'll play this band which they sound like, oh, no, actually, no, I'm wrong. It's not quite the same. But there's certain riffs which will remind you of other bands.
Yeah.
But that's going to happen. That's going to
one of our songs we were going to do for Harman's House sounded like a Corporate Cloney's song. It was like, all right, let's think of something else.
Yeah.
Because Corporate Cloney's one of our influences. And I think that's why the song came out that way. But
yeah,
it happens.
It does.
You might just borrow like a little section of the riff and then you don't hear it again when you play it. Because in their songs you're going to hear it all the time, but if it's your own band, you play a riff that sounds like a riff they've done already, you're only going to hear it for like maybe like 10-15 seconds and it's gone.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, that sounded like your river. What? That sounded like your river by my dying bride. Never.
Yeah.
Never. Great song though, and great album, Turn Loose the Swans.
Well, that's it. One of their best ones, that is. Yeah.
Yeah, because I listened to that on the way back from London, going to Film Fest.
Yeah.
In London. I am not even. You can probably tell what sort of bands were there, and where they were from. People were like, "Oh, gee, is it Ireland? No." Oh, yes, no, yes, no, it's Finland. And it was funny as well because two of the band said, "We are this band from Finland." No shit. No, it was a great festival, and onto it. I played "Turn Loose the Swan," "Turn Loose the Swans," sorry, from start to finish on the way home on the Sunday.
It's a great album.
Early Monday morning, because I was like, I need something slow and heavy. I'm tired.
I was fortunate. Get my words up. I was fortunate enough to see My Dying Bride on that tour.
Nice.
They played Cardiff. It was the old Bogies back then, which is no longer as demolished.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I've been there. I think I've been there because I saw Niall there in like 2014 or something.
And My Dying Bride played there, 1994, I think it was. Is it 94 or 93? One of them.
The album came out in 92 or 93.
Yes.
Might have been 92. Might be 93.
I saw them on that tour, the Terms of Swans tour, and brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
And a brilliant band live. Because what they got in their stuff, they got keyboards, they got a violin player. I think does the keyboards, or we just did the violin. I think I'm getting that mixed up, but it fits their music because their stuff is slow and heavy.
Yeah.
Like later on, it got slower and not slower, but it just stayed at that because the first album, as the
Flowers.
Yeah, that's a belter. I don't think on that album, even Aaron said they didn't know what they wanted to do, so they just did slow and basically like mixed what you would hear in Napalm Death and Carcass and all that. Just mixed it in.
But it works. It works really well on that album.
Yeah, and I can see why the Drowning is very influenced by them. Because definitely their music, and then you just pay. In a way, you're paying homage to them. My Dying Bride and Paradise Lost.
Yeah, because without those two bands, even Anathema as well, early Anathema.
Let's not forget about Anathema.
Yeah, we wouldn't have come up with the idea for the Drowning. We could have ended up as a black metal band. Because I was heavily into black metal as well at the time, but I didn't want to play black metal because I thought, UK black metal band, do we really want I thought, let's go back to the roots. Let's get back to the traditions of British doom death. So
yeah, and it works. Because
and
like
then yeah.
sorry, you carry on.
Oh, we just found a lot more room, and it was a lot more comfortable to play within that genre. It felt natural for us to do that rather than try and be something which the Scandinavians have been doing for years.
Oh yeah.
With the old black
Definitely.
metal.
Yeah,
So
because with the drowning, you're keeping what Anathema, My Dying Bride, and Paradise Lost. I'm gonna keep mentioning these bands now.
Yeah.
Because it's about doom, death, and drowning. You're keeping what they started back in like the late 80s and that alive.
Yeah,
basically,
that's
if that
it.
makes any sort of sense.
Yeah, it is. That's right. We're keeping that good traditional British movement going, which was the doom death scene.
Yeah, because My Dying Bride, well, they started back in 1990, if I remember correctly. And last year, they've been a band for 30 years.
Yeah, it's mad.
So they've been doing that for 30 years.
Yeah.
Well, this year will be 31 years. But they've been doing,
Yeah.
so 30 plus years now.
Yeah. Well, that was from the recordings, and the early stuff, which was on Peaceville. It was like when Peaceville was a really good label,
Yeah, because they had them, Paradise Lost, Autopsy are still on the label, I believe.
Yeah. Decomposed.
Yep.
Another good old doom death band.
Yeah, good band. Dark Throne still on there, I believe.
Dark Throne, yeah, started off on Peaceville. I think they still are, aren't they? Still on it.
Yeah, because they went from being a death metal band, so that's their first album, Soulside Journey, and then they went all the way to black metal, and now they're more crust punk sort of inspired now. It's still Dark Throne, it's just different.
But no, but the Peaceville days were good. The early days of Peaceville, it was just great,
Yeah, great, because that's where you got all the bands that you wouldn't get on Nuclear Blast or
exactly,
Metal Hammer, not Metal Hammer, Metal Blade. Metal Hammer's the bloody magazine. Century Media, who's Yellow Labels, Roadrunner had some death metal bands back in the day.
Yeah. Deicide,
being one of them. Deicide,
yeah.
All those bands on various labels, but the ones you would go to most for like your death metal fix, as it were, or doom death fix, like Peaceville, Nuclear Blast. Nuclear Blast would have all sorts of death metal bands on there. You wouldn't get bored.
Yeah. I dread to think how many bands.
There's another label, Earache, like death metal and everything.
Yeah. They had bands like Carcass and Napalm Death, didn't they? Bolt Thrower.
Earache. Bolt Thrower.
Yeah.
Bolt Thrower. Well, the first album released on that which was their second album, Realm of Chaos. Because their first one is In Battle There Is No Law, which is very grindy if you listen to it.
Yeah, I'll have to check. Yeah, because James, the old vocalist, was massively into Bolt Thrower, and he's just like, "Oh, you gotta listen to more Bolt Thrower," and I'm like, "God," and I just never got around to it. So missed low.
Listen to Bolt Thrower. Shut up. Shut up. I'll get around to it.
Yeah.
So I think some people are saying, "Oh, like my mate Simon's like, listen to this gore grind band." I will when I get to it and I listen to it. I was like, these guys are pretty cool. Or
yeah.
Listen to this brutal death metal band called Teddy Bear Autopsy. I'm not joking. There was a band called Teddy Bear Autopsy, and they're actually really good. I think some people might know who they are. I don't know.
Right. Okay.
Before we end this chat, because it's just gone quarter past 9. What the hell am I talking about? Oh, Jesus. 2020 has ruined it for everybody now.
It's ruined it. Definitely ruined everything.
Ruined everything. Ruined gigs. Damn you. Anyway, where would we find, for people who want to check out The Drowning and they want to buy t-shirts, CDs, patches, pins, badges, whatever the hell you guys got. You might, or for all we know, you got bloody handkerchiefs.
We haven't got to them.
Your merch.
Well, on our Bandcamp, yeah,
Bandcamp.
On our Bandcamp store, the Drowning Whales, we've got plenty of shirts. We've got new designs. We've got the Radiant Dark stuff. We've got some back catalogue stuff. You can get all the CDs are available, bar the first album. That is actually sold out now. There's patches and stuff. Vinyl is sold out, so unfortunately you won't be able to get your hands on a vinyl.
Sorry, vinyl collectors.
So you won't get one from the band, you won't get one from the label because they're literally gone. What we tried to do during 2020, while the scene was literally non-existent, if you like, we tried to keep a run of merchandise going. So we did Bleak Descent long sleeves for the anniversary of this Bleak Descent, which came with a free Bleak Descent CD and that. We had some new ladies fit designs done with the Drowning logo in the sphere, which is based around the Radiant Dark. We had the Radiant Dark album artwork shirts done as well this year. So we'll probably have something new for this year now, which will be non-album related. So it'll be just a general Drowning artwork, something dark and sinister. And
that's up my street.
There was a point I was going to make earlier in the chat, was the Radiant Dark artwork was done by Matt Vickerstaff. So Matt Vickerstaff has done a lot of the Peaceville stuff like Dark Throne, Anathema, Bride.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So we got Matt Vickerstaff to do Senescent Signs. He's done the Radiant Dark. He's done a couple of shirt designs for us, which are non-album related. Going back to getting some new shirt designs for 2021, we'll probably consult Matt Vickerstaff again to come up with something.
I'm just about to look him up.
Yeah.
What's he done? Well, he's done you guys. Autopsy. Yeah, he did Autopsy layouts and that. Bloodbath.
Yeah.
Cancer's album that they released, Shadow Crypt. Candlemass, Carcass, Carnivore, Cradle of Filth, yet Dark Throne, Deicide, Gore Guts, Hate Eternal, Lock Up.
He's done a lot.
Loud Blast, Mayhem, My Dying Bride, Mortar Scold, My Silent Wake.
Yeah.
Rotting Christ, can't go on with them. Suffocation, The Drowning, obviously, because you just mentioned it. And Waylander, I think that's one of the bands Aventel wants to do stuff with, but more on that another time. Great art. Yeah, great artist.
He's brilliant. He's really good. And like I say, we'll get him to do a shirt design for 2021, which will be nothing related to any albums. It'll just be like a nice fresh design. And like I say, before we end the chat, so at the moment, we're hoping to go back into rehearsals now as soon as we can to finish the writing of the next album. So fingers crossed, if everything goes to plan, we'll be back in the studio for the springtime of this year.
That'd be great. Get this damn vaccine out.
So we'll get back in the studio and start getting this new album down. And hope for maybe a very, very late 2021 release, depending how the recording process goes, or early 2022. But just for the people out there, there's another album coming. So
that's great. Yeah,
But by the time we get back on the live scene with this whole COVID thing, we could be doing a double album tour. We could be doing the next album and the Radiant Dark as a joint bloody promotion.
it'd be like, well, we got new stuff, but we're going to play stuff from our 2019 release.
Yeah, which we never got to play because of
like, oh God, what's going on?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's great. So there's a new album coming out. Obviously, there's no title name yet.
No, this all it's all work in progress. But yeah,
work on that. Mention bands you like to play with. You said My Dying Bride, Paradise Lost. Is there any other bands you like to play with when we are given the chance to go to gigs and play with bands?
This probably is, but nothing's jumping out. It's just like if someone said, within reason, who would you like to play with? We played with Vader and Entombed and Immolation, and that was fucking awesome. I tell you what, it was just like, because we saw a side to like stuff which is like, oh, this is not just doing a regular gig, this is like serious shit, and love to do with those kind of bands again, because although our genre was not quite suited, but we went down well on their little tours.
That's great.
So it was good. So any good big band, really, I'd be happy to share the stage with.
Yeah, any big band I can see you with. You did play the Little Devil with Conan.
That's right. Yes, we did. Yeah.
That went down really well. Like Matt
that was good. Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of other bands you might be suited with.
I'd love to play with Catatonia. I know we're not
Catatonia,
doing what they do, but
yeah, that'll work actually.
Because I really like Catatonia. I've loved them for years. Yeah, that's another band I'd love to do a tour with. Or there's that other band which the two guitarists left Catatonia to do is October Tide.
October Tide, yeah, I can see you guys with those two bands, and there's one band that I saw at FinFest on the last day, and they're called Skepticism.
Yes, I know them. Yeah,
I think you guys might suit them. Their stuff's more on the funeral doom side.
Yeah, that's right.
But
yes,
you guys will still go down well with their fans. But I never heard of them until then.
Yeah.
And I was completely blown away by their performance and their music and their overall stage presence, because they dress up like in all like Victorian clothing.
Mad.
It's mad. And the vocalist was giving out roses to people in the audience. I thought, okay. It suits the music.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely. Those bands, all the bands we've mentioned, like My Dying Bride, all the way down to Skepticism. Definitely, you guys could do something with them when given the chance.
Well, that's it. I'm hoping when things get back to normal, we can get back on the Doom festivals again. Because there's plenty of Doom festivals going around the world in all different countries. So
yeah, Romania, Malta, Finland, Sweden. I'm trying to think of countries where you wouldn't think there would be metal.
Oh, it's surprising how far metal has spread around the world.
It's mental, absolutely mental how far it's gone. Not because I thought, I know we got metal in the UK and America. Where else? And I'm like, oh, Sweden, Finland, Denmark, Norway, Faroe Islands, Iceland. Botswana, because there's a favourite band from there in Africa.
Well, I'll tell you an interesting...
Lithuania and places like that.
Yeah. I'll tell you an interesting one is we actually sold a CD, right? It actually went. I never sent it. I think it was the label sent it. I don't know. But it went to Antarctica.
Antarctica.
So that the only thing I could think of, there must have been some sort of like geological research station down there or something, and someone was working there and they had it sent But yeah, one of the Radiant Dark albums went down there. Up there, down there, whatever it fucking is.
Wherever it is. North, south, east, west, who knows?
Yeah, but yeah, funny. But it's been great talking, Jake. Absolutely brilliant,
yeah,
mate.
definitely. Yeah, thanks for taking the time. I knew we
Yeah,
were meant
no
to do
problem.
this at the end of last year, but obviously you weren't available. You were busy. Which I thought,
Yes.
you know what, this might be good as a start to 2021.
Yeah.
So
Like you
it
say,
worked out.
we just got to hope things get better this year and we can get past this bad patch. You know?
Yeah, get all back and then I can see you guys again, have a drink, see more of my mates. Because one thing I do when I see my mates, I give them a hug. Because everyone deserves a hug.
Yes. Is there any news on the Griffin? Is it going to remain open or is it completely gone?
It did open for a time. I had to, scan the picture, put your name in, and order your drinks from the table you were sat at.
Yeah.
I don't know if John's going to open it like that again soon. Not sure.
Yeah.
Hopefully. I mean, hopefully, fingers crossed. That'll happen, but I want to get back to where I can just go to the bar, order my drink, and just sit at the bar.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we can come back and we can have a beer and a good old chat.
Yeah, that'd be great. Griffin, Fuel. I mean,
yeah.
Great.
Brilliant.
It'll be brilliant. So thank you very much, Mike, for taking
Been a pleasure, mate. Absolute pleasure.
Absolute pleasure to have you on here. And the first one of 2021. I almost said 2020. Crying out loud. 2021. 2021. Not the year I just given a boot to. And yeah, hope to see you when we can.
Yeah.
Because this virus has just ruined a lot of people's lives.
Let's get back on that horse and we'll battle on, mate.
Let's do it. We'll get back on it. I'll let you go and chill out, listen to music or whatever you're going to do now. I don't know. I'm not a mind reader.
I'll probably crack open a cold beer and put some music on. So
that works.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. So I'm going to end this chat, but I will leave a link down below on this video where you can find the Drownings merch. And I'll even put in my site and Wake in there so you can have a listen to them. And this is Jake from Jake's Metal Chat, signing off. Take care of yourselves and tell this virus to just go do one.